Good afternoon, and very warm welcome to Pinhole Quilting. My name is Liz. My husband Pete is behind the camera, and wish you all a very happy new year. We hope that 2025 brings you lots of creativity, joy, happiness, and things that are positive in your life. And we hope that everybody benefits from perhaps watching videos like this that kind of connect us all in some way. We're back. We came back in on the 2nd of January after a lovely break for Christmas. A fairly quiet New Year, wasn't it, Pete? We had a quiet New Year.
Very quiet.
Very quiet.
No parties for us.
No, but we've got a party tomorrow, haven't we? So we have. Yeah, we're hosting a party tomorrow, so we've got plenty to do for that. But yeah, it was just more about Christmas, family and friends, seeing people, and I hope that you all had a great Christmas as well. So since we're back, a new year is one of those moments in time when you perhaps look back at your previous year and then forward to the year ahead. It's a moment in which we can reflect on lots of things that have happened, good things that have happened, and perhaps put behind us the bad things that have happened and look forward positively to the new year. The new year is going to bring some very cold weather here. We're due some snow, aren't we? We're due some snow on tomorrow night here. But there's a lady who came to visit the showroom today, and they'd driven down from Derbyshire. It was already snowing up there, but they were very high, at the highest village in England, apparently. Somewhere near Bakewell or Buxton. Buxton, that's what it was. Pete, so have we got anybody online? Okay, fantastic. So we'll say hello to everybody in a bit. But I wanted to focus in this Facebook Live on some of the things, the more positive aspects of what patchwork and quilting can do. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is actually, maybe when you're more aware of it, you notice it, but it's quite noticeable in a number of people who buy our machines, that getting a long arm is part of like the creative process of patchwork and quilting, obviously. But it's also something where people, when they've got time and they might be recovering from illness or they're looking for a change and something positive, that patchwork and quilting can definitely bring that. And it has been shown in lots of various studies that patchwork and quilting has got so many benefits, whether it be for the colours that we're using, the sort of shared experience of stitching together and kind of quintessential sewing bee method of putting quilts together as a group. The fact that we are doing things with our head, so we're actually working out quite complex calculations, sometimes using a bit of maths. Not always correct, but hopefully more often than not. Measure twice, cut once is a good maxim to live by. So we have all these things, these positive things about patchwork and quilting. And so with that in mind, just thought I'd just reprise a few things that I've been looking at and maybe share them with you. And I'm going to put a document on our Facebook page which has links from some of these things. So you don't have to be frantically taking notes if you are watching this either on Facebook, on Catch Up, on YouTube, however else we might post it. You don't have to write this all down. I'll put some links. So as part of our New Year message, I love the quote from Maya Angelou, you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. And anybody who's pursued something in the arts to any great extent, whether it be writing or piecing, quilting, whatever it is, you know that the more you do, the better you get. So I think that's really important to remember, that just being creative in our everyday lives, in whatever aspects that you choose to focus on in that particular moment, you just get better the more you do of it. And that is definitely true of our machines. We can see it in so many of our customers. So let's just think about 2025 and ways that you can spend your time in 2025. The review, I suppose, starting off by looking back. To look forward, you can look back, see what you did. And one of my friends who's been really successful in business, she runs a business development company. And I looked at her LinkedIn posts, which popped up on my feed. And she said the thing that she does in January, both personally and professionally, is that she looks at what happened in the previous year. And she says, I urge you to sit down with your favourite beverage and consider for each month from January 2024 the challenges you thought you'd never overcome, but you did. The things you were concerned about, but which didn't end up as big a deal. The small and the big wins. The lovely things people said to you. Silly, unjustified things you said to yourself. The things you learned, and lovely time spent with favourite people. And it's surprising when you actually look back and you realise how much you've achieved in a year. Having those sort of things to think about does actually make you see the year in a much more positive light. It actually has this really weird impact. Even me just thinking about it now, the things you were concerned about which didn't end up as big a deal, that is so good. I think so many of us kind of worry and stress about stuff, and actually it comes to naught, and there's no point in worrying about things that you can't change. So that's a good way to start, I think, is actually looking back on the previous 12 months as to what we might do in the next 12. So don't stress over the small stuff, right? I posted on Facebook, and it'll come up at about 3 o'clock, I think, something called the Action for Happiness calendar. I found this really useful. In the past, a couple of years ago, I used the Action for Happiness app, and it was very, very good. It was a 10-day thing that you can follow. It just kind of gets you thinking very positively about stuff. And the January one has got things like find 3 things to look forward to this year. So, think of those things that you've got. Maybe the arrival of your long arm. For the customer who had their machine installed by Pete yesterday, welcome to the Long Arm Handy Quilter group. Those lovely customers out there will welcome you on Long Arm Learning Curve, which you can now join. So do you want to say something about that installation, Pete?
Yeah, as I posted on Facebook, it was a really lovely day with Kate in Devizes. Now, I'd never been to Devizes before. Beautiful little town in Wiltshire. I am told by somebody who knows it well that the traffic can be horrendous, but fortunately, because it's still holidays and things, the traffic was great yesterday.
Yeah, you had seamless.
A lovely place, and Kate is going to do some great work on her new machine. Had a really lovely space for it down in her basement. It was good fun, great way to start the year.
No, it's really good. And I know that, one of those things about making a decision about buying a long arm, what a great way to start the year with that installed. So enjoy. We look forward to seeing you at the foundation workshop whenever you book on that. Our foundation workshops, we've got some in February, but those are full now. So it'll be the April one for anybody who's got a machine and is looking to book up. And we'll have more throughout the year.
So should we say hello?
Yeah, should we say hello?
People?
Yeah, great.
Oh, my microphone seems not to be working.
Oh no.
So Helen and Jeff are online.
Did you? I think the one with the loop on is the one that you...
Right, hopefully people will hear me now. Right,
Okay.
So Happy New Year from Helen and Jeff at the Cloth House.
Hello to Helen and Jeff, who we saw up in Newcastle last year, and they've got their cloth house all sorted now. Great, hope you had a good time.
And from our very own Michelle, from a sunny Cheltenham.
It's a beautiful day. I mean, New Year's Day was an absolute shocker, wasn't it? We were consigned to the fact that we were not going to be going for a bike ride on New Year's Day. So anyway, hello Michelle, Happy New Year. See you tomorrow.
And Maggie in Wiltshire says the sun's out there too, but very cold. Yes, it really is very cold, but it is winter.
It was. What temperature was it this morning, Pete, on the car?
-7, it said.
-7.
Yes.
They said on the radio. It said it's really cold. One of the coldest places is Oxfordshire, but quite often it's here, Oxfordshire, and here seem to vie for coldest place. Is it still not working?
No, it's okay now.
Good. We must make a mark on that one.
Yes, and Carol Watson.
Carol.
Happy New Year to you too, Carol.
Year. Happy New Year.
And Mary in Mollington.
Oh, Mary in Mollington. Yep. We got, got a lovely little card over Christmas. Thank you for that, Mary.
Pamela Durham in Nottinghamshire.
Oh, yes.
We were talking about you, Pamela, this morning.
We were very much talking about you. We will be in touch soon.
Elizabeth Dunkley, Happy New Year to you.
Elizabeth, Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
And Anne Rose in Preston.
Ah, yes. Anne, I'm hoping that you still conquered your tension issues. And Anne's tension was out. But we got her back on track. So that's good. Okay. Right. So, learn something new and share it with others. That's another thing on the Action for Happiness calendar. Get outside and notice 5 things that are beautiful. I think there's some really good things. I mean, you can be cynical about it and just go, no, I'm not going to do it. But actually, there are some really good things in here. And I'm just looking down at my computer where I've got it. So the Action for Happiness calendar, check it out. So one of the other things that I thought about, I'd love to do this, but I just don't think I'm around enough to do it. And we've got quite a lot happening outside of work, so don't have a lot of time. But if you do, a sew-along is a great way to be able to go through the year, seeing what other people are doing as well. If you go on Instagram and you do hashtag QAL for quilt along, or put in the words quilt along, or put in the words sew along, you should come up with some options there. I just had a look actually. The one that comes up when I just did a search now is from somebody called Stitched in Colour, spelt without a U. Without a U. COLOR. It's a program for 2025. Also, years ago, when I was at Cotton Patch, we used to see a lovely couple, Weeks Ringle and Bill Kerr, and their Modern Quilt Studio. They do a quilt along. It's starting, I think it's on the 4th, which is tomorrow. It's a free program to join as a quilt along, but you do need to buy, I think you need to buy like a download, just download the pattern from their website. But I'll put a link up on this document. If you're interested in any of their quilt alongs, they've got some on there. And as I say, there's a one starting. I was just going to have a look at the quilt along. Where is it? Yeah, it's called My Word Mini Quilt Along. So I'll put the link on. They've got a Facebook page where you can find out more details if you're interested in that. Also, the Modern Quilt Studio, one of the things that Pete and I got chatting to them when we were at Houston in 2019, and I thought it was really great what the conversation I had with Weeks was that in order to complete quilts, you need space in your life, in your home, and in your head. And if you don't have all 3 of those things, it's actually really, really hard to achieve things. So, having a lovely creative studio is great, but actually if you haven't got space to even put your sewing machine out, you're never going to progress if you're always moving things around. So having some degree of order is useful. But actually I think for most people it's space in your head that they lack. So you might be so busy with work or with children or grandchildren or some other things that are happening in your life that actually you don't have time in your head to focus on your quilting. So having something really simple or having a quilt along, but you're not having to decide what to do, is really useful. But the other thing that I found very handy for completing projects, she says, as someone who's got tons of projects hasn't completed, but I do have a book and all my projects are listed in the book. And so I have like an index at the front and the name of the project, who it's for when I started it. And then I've got like a step-by-step of what I've done, so I just make a note of where I've got up to. And then I have, for each project, what I need to do next. So even though they're like in suspended animation, and some of them have been in suspended animation for quite some time, I can look at that book and go, oh yeah, right, that's where I'm at. I'd had done 10 out of the 12 blocks, I've got these 2 left to do, and that will save you so much time, because I don't know about you, but I can't remember where I put my phone umpteen times a day. So, the chance of my remembering where I was with a particular project is quite slim, to say the least. So that's a really useful thing, and that I think you can even get books, like little, crafting books where you can do that, but you can just make your own. I just get like a journal. The other thing that is a big problem, and again, this was in the conversation I had with Weeks, we were there for ages chatting, because they're such interesting people, is that if you get a block, like you've got a project that you haven't finished, and you feel unable and incapacitated to start a new one, particularly if it's a big one, or to finish something, because of the guilt that builds up. Now, this did happen to me. I am speaking from personal experience here. That I had this quilt, and people who know me for a while know that I had a wedding quilt from my friend that just sat unfinished, unquilted. I mean, it's not like I don't have a quilting machine to finish it, but I just didn't have time. And I didn't have time in my head to finish it. And I wanted to do a really good job. But the thing is, this was a wedding quilt where people had signed a piece of paper and put like little quotes, and I was going to scan those quotes, and I was going to print them on the fabric that was going on the back of the quilt. I mean, I committed to this by doing a speech at the wedding. I mean, how bad is that? And then umpteen years went by, and we're in double digits here. It's got to have been 12 years, 13 years. And they hadn't got divorced, which was great. But the only thing was that some of the people on the pieces of paper had become slightly persona non grata. So there was a little bit of editing required before I printed it on the fabric. Okay, yes, that happened. Anyway, I finished the quilt. Honestly, it was like an open door to paradise. I suddenly felt I could do other things, and it's just been such a relief to finish it. But not only that, when I gave it to them, which was now got to be 2 or 3 years ago, David cried. David cried. Ali didn't. David cried. I mean, it was brilliant. I finished that project, so I would encourage you, if you've got that block, and I'm not talking about a little square one, I'm talking about the block in your head, I'd encourage you to finish it. And, this is the kind of thing that we need to be doing. We need to encourage you. So Long Arm Learning Curve on Facebook, post on there if you're stuck on a project and you really want to get it finished. We will encourage you. So post on there the things that you've not completed, and we will encourage you to get them finished this year in 2025. So Long Arm Learning Curve is for all our handy quilter owners, and we want you to join in on this and get those blocks out of the block state and into the completed and joyful state of giving. So if you fancy joining in on that, just post up on Long Arm Learning Curve. Any comments, Pete? I'm just wittering along.
So Anne Rose seems to be getting on well with her Pro Stitcher, which is great. And Happy New Year from Yvonne Tuck in Hampshire.
Oh, fantastic.
And also from Wayna Kirshner in Pennsylvania.
Wayna. I mean, the only reason I really know Wayna is that I see your name on the folder for Handy Quilted Designs. So you're up there, Wayna. Well, actually, you're down there because you're a W. But, you're there. Fantastic. Great. Good to have you along. And if you feel like putting any comments down about what you have found particularly successful, apart from the fact that you've got lots of time, but say any techniques that you use to complete your projects and to get things done, or any good objectives you've got or things that you found that have helped you, please share. Please share, because it's just useful. We're all in the same bag, aren't we? We try and complete things, and not all of us succeed. So if you're someone who succeeds where others fail, please share your success stories.
So Wayna says, love you guys.
Love you too. Well, I hope we're going to meet you sometime. That would be good, wouldn't it?
It would, wouldn't it?
That would be great. Excellent. All right. So what's next? Anybody else? Or I'll go on to my next little point on my list.
And another of our favourite handy quilter people, Annette.
Yeah. Annette!
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Annette was such a joy. Such a joy. Honestly, you were a bundle of energy on our stand, and we really appreciated your help last year at Festival of Quilts. Hope 2025 is a good one for you and your family. Okay? Right. Anything else on that? No? Lovely. Right. Well, talking about sort of things that can make you inspired, let's just think about that for a minute. One of the ways that we're inspired by seeing what others have done. So quilt shows are a great way to get inspired. Every time we go to Festival of Quilts, I feel inspired. I feel also slightly intimidated, but I do mainly feel inspired. I think we all kind of are amazed by the level and the standard and the inspiration and the work and the total creativity that goes into so many of the peoples who submit their quilts to Festival of Quilts. And not only that, but to the people who are suppliers, the people who've got stands there that have just done the most amazing stands and, you know, create beautiful kits for everybody. And, you know, there's so much creativity and work that goes into Festival of Quilts. It's an amazing show. We will be there again, of course. And we'll let you know more details about that in due course. But Festival of Quilts, big item on our agenda every year. The other thing is the Grosvenor Quilt Shows, and we'll be going to a number of those. The first one for us will be the Malvern Quilt Show in May, and we'll be going to that with our long arms, and also we'll have the Dukey machines there, so you can come along. And if you're interested in getting a straight stitch and overlocker or embroidery or a regular machine for dressmaking and quilting, then you can come along and have a go at one of the Dukey machines. So we'll be going to other quilt shows throughout the year, and we'll let you know about those on our website and also on our email newsletter. So Festival of Quilts, we'll have the classroom and we'll have our main stand, but again, as I say, more details on that to follow. Did you want to add something to that, Pete?
Comment
Yeah.
in from... sorry, it's just scrolled on the screen here. Let me just find it. From Helen.
Yeah.
Helen Wycherley, who says, for her, it's about taking one bit at a time. I can get overwhelmed if I look at the whole quilt, but everyone has time for just one block. Rome wasn't built in a day.
It's really, really good point. And sometimes when your mind is too full, that is when you forget to break it down into one block at a time. And to be happy just to do that one section and know that you can do more tomorrow. It's kind of it's a difficult place when you've got too much, you're too befuddled with all of the detail to see the wood for the trees. So that's a great tip. Thank you, Helen. Thank you for sharing that. Rome wasn't built in a day, and all of that, as you say. So quilt shows are an inspiration, and we've got a Zoom talk with Vendulka Bate on, I'm going to look at my calendar, January, Vendulka is talking 6 o'clock on January the 20th. So this is a Zoom talk, and there'll be a chance for questions and answers afterwards. Vendulka won with her husband Olivier at the Festival of Quilts the main Handy Quilter Best in Show Award for incredible quilt, Our Ladies. And Vendulka is approaching her talk from the point of view of not only being an award-winning quilter, but now also being a quilt judge. Vendulka won one of the awards at the Mancuso Quilt Show as well, with an incredible quilted jacket. So, you know, Vendulka's talents are multifaceted, and the level of finish and level of detail is really exceptional that she has achieved. So I think, you know, you'll get a lot of insight from both parts of points of view that Vendulka can bring. And so if you're thinking of entering a quilt show, or if you've been to quilt shows and thought, why did that one win? Why didn't that one win? Then I hope that the talk will provide some insight into that. So do sign up. It's on our website, handyquilter.co.uk with Vendulka. For inspiration, go no further than Joe Avery on the 27th of January, when Joe will be doing a Zoom talk on modern quilting. And I know so many people have really got into modern quilting. You know, I was talking about Modern Quilt Studio earlier with Weeks Ringel and Bill Kerr. They've been doing it for years. But actually, you know, that sort of development of modern quilting, I think, is only getting stronger and stronger. So delighted that we've got Joe, who's going to be doing a Zoom talk, very similar to the one we had in person. And obviously, a limited number of people could come in person. And we've got quite a lot of people from the States and Canada signed up for that as well. So that's fun. That's 7 till 8:30ish on Monday, the 27th of January, starting at 7 o'clock, like I say. So that's Joe Avery. We'll have more things like this. We'll be announcing them in due course. And it's about inspiring people. It's about getting you to the point where you feel like you can really get things done and achieving stuff. And it's also a point of question for yourselves as to what can we do to help you achieve your creative goals and ambitions in 2025. So if there are things that you think that we need to be doing that can help you in that, then just let us know. You can always email us. We are open to suggestions. If you are up in Edinburgh area, you may also be interested to know that one of our customers, Laura Graham, along with 2 other people, Gillian Cooper and Samantha Townsend, have got a textile and mixed media exhibition on in February, 15th to the 23rd of February at the Dundas Street Gallery. And I'll put a link to this up on the website with this document. So that'll be really interesting. I mean, the reason why that came up is we've just been demoing today on one of the pre-love machines, and Laura has a FAF power quilter, which was made by Handy Quilter. So they come up from time to time as now pre-love machines. They don't make them anymore. But Laura's got one of those pre-loved FAF machines, and she does the most incredible work on it. So check out that link when I post it. And hopefully, you know, if you're up in Edinburgh in the February time, maybe you can go along and have a look. It says that there will be an opportunity. It's quite diverse, it says. I don't know the other people's work, but mixed media and textile art, huge range of styles and techniques on display from 3 contemporary artists. Most work will be for sale as originals and prints. So well done to Laura, and I think it's great when people, you know, do get their work exhibited like that. It's really important, isn't it, to share what you're doing. And Laura you might recognise some of her quilts they've been at Festival of Quilts and also at, one was at the Sandown Quilt Show, I think. So, Pete, any other comments? Otherwise, I think I'm pretty much through what I was going to talk about. Yeah, because Laura uses Lutrador's paper, the Lutrador stuff, which is kind
I love Laura's work.
it's amazing, isn't it?
Her quilts are fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's very inspirational. I mean, you might not aspire to do that sort of thing, but actually you can still get inspiration from that.
Yeah, agreed.
So, final comment online here. Steph Landels, looking forward to seeing us at the Malvern show.
Yes, great. Thank you, Steph. Because we saw Steph up at
Newcastle
Quilt Show.
Yes, we did.
Which is great. And it's really great. You know, what I love is the fact, you know, we have customers who are buying pre-loved machines as well as brand new machines, and there's just a massive community of people out there with long arms, and we're delighted to be a part of that development. And anything we can do that helps people on that journey, let us know how we can help, and we look forward to seeing your progress. If you've got things that you'd like to post online on Long Arm Learning Curve, then please do. We're always delighted to see those things online. Okay, well, I think that's me. I'm going to post this now, and I'm going to wish you all once again a very happy New Year. Lovely to have our American quilters on here, Wayna and Annette, particularly. Big shout out to you guys. Thank you for stopping by. And we look forward to seeing you at a quilt show around the UK, or perhaps further afield. We might see you over in the States maybe this year. Who knows? Who knows indeed. All right. Happy quilting. Have a wonderful weekend.
And Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year once again. All right. Bye now.